This episode of 5 Things is brought to you by NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Keep listening after the show to find out about NetSuite's special financing for 5 Things listeners.
Good morning, I'm Taylor Wilson, and this is 5 Things You Need to Know Friday, the 16th of July, 2021. Today, mask requirements make a comeback, plus the latest on western wildfires and more. Here are some of the top headlines. 25,000 troops have been deployed in South Africa. Their response comes after week-long protests and riots sparked by the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma. At least 117 people have been killed in the violence. NCAA President Mark Emmert is proposing a smaller role for the organization in college sports. He said Thursday that many decisions in the future may be delegated to conferences and schools. Emmert's comments come as the organization faces pressure from Congress, courts, and its own constituents to reform its role. And Tom Brady played the entire 2020 season with a torn MCL. The Tampa Bay Times reported the quarterback got the injury playing for the New England Patriots the previous season. He went on to win the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. Mask requirements are not totally in the rearview mirror. Los Angeles County, the most populated county in the country, will once again require people to wear masks indoors, regardless of vaccination status. The move comes just a month after California became one of the last in the country to reopen and drop virus mandates. But Los Angeles County has been averaging more than 1,000 new cases a day over the past week. That's much higher than before California officially reopened on June 15th. One day before the state reopened, Los Angeles County reported just 135 new cases. Now concerns center on the Delta variant, the dominant COVID-19 strain in the U.S., and cases all over the country are back on the rise. The nation is averaging about 25,300 new cases a day, more than double the rate from the week of June 22nd. Still, those totals represent only about 10% of the numbers reported in the U.S. in its worst week in January. But deaths from the virus are also rising in most states and around the world. The World Health Organization reported that deaths climbed last week after 9 straight weeks of decline. Health officials are blaming low vaccination rates, relaxed mask rules, and the more contagious Delta variant. Wildfires continue to burn throughout the American West. There are more than 70 across 12 states, from California to Minnesota, fueled by weeks of severe heat and drought, among other factors. The largest is Oregon's Bootleg Fire. It's burned through more than 330 square miles since sparking on July 6th. It's also only 7% contained and may not be fully contained until the fall. On Thursday, the bootleg started growing rapidly, prompting evacuation orders. More and more people have stories similar to Tim and Dee McCarley, who told the AP about their evacuation from their Southern Oregon home. They returned to miraculously find it still standing.
The sheriff came up, and he was keeping in contact with us over the days. And at that time, Friday at 5:30, he says, "Get out, you won't survive."
So you stay, you'll die.
You'll die. So we gathered up what we could, got the cats, and the fire was right there. We could hear the roar. It was like a freight train, and the flames were just coming at us, and the smoke was just awful. So we jumped in our vehicles and we scooted out. His sister, Sandra Cook, I heard it. It was on speaker, and she said, "Tim, I'm going to pray to God that God puts a bubble around your house." And I swear to you, it was like a circle around the house. A perfect circle, and it saved our water, our solar, and the house, untouched.
Further south, residents in Paradise, California are worried as the Dixie Fire moves closer and closer to their town just 10 miles away. Nearly all of Paradise was destroyed by the deadliest wildfire in U.S. history, the Camp Fire, in 2018. That blaze was responsible for 86 deaths and mass property damage. As for the current fires, high temperatures don't appear to be going anywhere. Long-range forecasts show them increasing over the weekend and into next week in much of the western U.S. The U.S. military helped train some of the Colombian suspects who have been arrested in connection with the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. A Pentagon spokesman said that a small number of them participated in U.S. military training and education programs while serving as active members of the Colombian military forces. Colombian officials have said that 13 Colombians connected to the attack are retired members of the country's military, while 11 were arrested and 2 others were killed by Haitian police. Moïse was murdered at his private home last week in an attack that has thrown the country into political chaos. Haitian officials have said Moïse was killed by foreign mercenaries, including those Colombian suspects, and as many as 3 Americans of Haitian descent. Authorities in Haiti on Thursday pushed back against a report from Colombia's Caracol television station that claimed interim Haitian Prime Minister Claude Joseph was actually the mastermind behind the killing. A Miami security firm is also facing questions about possible links to the attack. Colombian police say that CTU Security used its company credit card to buy 19 plane tickets from Bogotá to the Dominican Republic for the Colombian suspects. And Haiti's police have also accused the firm's owner, Tony Intriago, of traveling to Haiti several times as part of the assassination plot. Some family members of the involved Colombians have said the men understood their mission was to give protection for VIPs and may not have known what they were getting into. Nelson Romero Velazquez, a former soldier and attorney advising some of those families, said the men had all served in Colombia's elite special forces and could operate without being detected if they wanted to. He said their behavior made it clear they did not go to Haiti to assassinate the president. As for the U.S. response to the attack and ongoing situation, President Joe Biden said Thursday that the U.S. does not plan to send troops to the country.
We're only sending American Marines to our embassy to make sure that they are secure and nothing is out of whack at all. But the idea of sending American forces into Haiti is not on the agenda at this moment.
For more, you can search Haiti on usatoday.com. The death toll has risen to more than 90, with dozens missing after devastating flooding in Germany and Belgium. German Chancellor Angela Merkel was at the White House Thursday and said she feared the full extent of the tragedy will only be seen in the coming days. Storms in parts of Western Europe this week have caused rivers and reservoirs to burst their banks, leading to flash flooding. Rescue operations are also being hurt by blocked roads and phone and internet outages. Some small villages have also been nearly entirely wiped out, with the sudden rush of water destroying old homes. Some of those killed include 9 residents of a German assisted living facility and 2 firefighters. And in Belgium, a rescue operation by firefighters went wrong when a small boat capsized and 3 elderly people disappeared. Stefan Ramsdorf, a professor of ocean physics at the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, said it was unclear if the extreme rainfall was specifically due to climate change, but he told the AP that such events are becoming more frequent due to global warming. It's time for Space Jam LeBron style.
What'd you do to my son? Where's Dom?
The only way you're getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball. Pete, send this clown to the rejects.
Wait. What is this? Ah! I'm a cartoon?
Meh. What's up, Doc?
I need to assemble an elite team to help get my son back.
I know what you're looking for. A dream team.
25 years after Michael Jordan hopped on court with Bugs Bunny and the Toon Squad, LeBron James is taking over with his own version in Space Jam: A New Legacy. Similar to last time, the current generation's basketball GOAT is battling for his own existence against the Goon Squad opponents. James must also beat them to get his son back. Also in theaters Friday, a movie that hits a different tone, a documentary about the late chef and travel television legend Anthony Bourdain.
It was almost never about food. It was about Tony learning how to be a better person.
When he threw himself into something, he threw himself completely.
Why am I here? Am I insane?
He was like, life's about finding a cliff worth jumping off. I'm gonna look for something feral and wild.
He was a traditional romantic.
Reality was never gonna live up to exactly how he pictured it.
Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain, comes from director Morgan Neville, who also did Won't You Be My Neighbor, a documentary about Mr. Rogers. This time he tackles a portrait of Bourdain's restless spirit, following his rise from struggling restaurateur to New York Times bestselling author to the star of multiple smash hit travel shows. Bourdain later died of suicide in 2018. He was 61. Thanks for listening to 5 Things. You can find the show wherever you get your audio, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thanks as always to Shannon Green and Claire Thornton for their work on the pod. 5 Things is part of the USA Today Network.
Tackling your business's finance to-dos can be daunting enough without being slowed down by manual processes, integration difficulties, and glitchy delays. Now is the time to make the switch to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 financial system, because NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. It's everything you need, all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time, no matter how big your business grows. Don't let your competitors sprint ahead while you stay stuck trying to make sense of your books. Switch to NetSuite to get the control you need to thrive. And right now, special financing is back. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program only for those ready to switch today. Head to netsuite.com/5things right now. That's special financing at netsuite.com/5things. netsuite.com/5things.